Hello, I'm Brett Knowles from PM2 Consulting. This webinar provides you some insights in the best practices we've established around helping the human resources function inside organizations translate the organization strategy into human resource function action. We've done 2,000 or 3,000 scorecards literally in every sector around the world. Many of those scorecards include components in the human resources area. Our work has been profiled in many of the scorecard books and case studies. We've also had some specific experience in the human capital area and have helped form some of the concepts and some of the performance measurement ideas which have supported all aspects of intangible assets. There are really 5 phases to building an effective human resources scorecard, and it can be done fairly quickly, and some organizations as short as just 5 days. The first phase is to capture the existing strategy and communicate it in the form of a strategy map. We should be able to identify the strategic objectives that the human resources department should be achieving and how important they are to the organization. So in this example, on the financial perspective, overall, we want to maximize return on employees. To do that, we need to make sure that we match the skills required from individuals to the job requirements. We need to manage our human resources costs. To match the skills and job requirements, we need to build the right capabilities. To do that, we need to deliver innovative solutions. And innovative solutions, an internal objective, will support both building competitive capabilities, but also help us manage the HR costs and so forth. So the strategy map teases out the core human resources strategic objectives and also communicates how important they are to the success of the organization. Now, these weightings will change over time, but they communicate the current priorities. The second step then is to find performance indicators for each one of those strategic objectives. Inside your currently existing architecture, we should be able to find performance indicators for each and every one of those objectives. And they're all remarkably easy to get. If you think of, for example, matching skills to jobs, 20% weighting, it's as easy as measuring the number of days that you have a position open before HR has been able to fill it. Pretty easy information to get. Even things like leveraging HR technologies. Again, let's just go to the server and measure how much people are using the applications, or if they're web-based tools, how many page hits and page views we're seeing and so forth. The net is, all this information is available already, and we can quickly create a balanced scorecard where everyone in the organization can understand the objectives, how important they are, how we're performing, and what the trend of performance is over time. Now, in this example, green means we're meeting target, yellow slightly behind, red significantly behind. And those thresholds that trigger red, yellow, and green, of course, are set objective by objective. From there, we can then do something interesting. How do we translate that into action? What that looks like is we should be able to get the core processes and understand how well they're supporting the objective. Think of taking those strategic objectives down the left and your core processes across the top. We can then rate and rank the impact and performance of each process as it supports each strategic objective. In fact, we can provide a score that allows you to see what is the current process capability and what's the gap between how the processes currently perform and what's required to achieve strategic success, the gold portion. In this way, we can easily align ourselves around where our process improvement focus should be. In fact, we can do a similar analysis, but now, with the strategic objectives on the left, we're going to look at the projects or initiatives across the top and see which strategic objectives they impact. In this way, we can begin to see whether the projects are focusing in on the observed performance gaps, or do we have a misalignment of our project portfolio and need to get a better handle on how those resources are being consumed. From there, we can use that same information to begin building impact diagrams, which explain the cause and effect relationship between the strategic objective and the critical success factors and drivers that ultimately are creating the performance that leadership is seeing. Finally, effectively in the 4th phase or the 4th day, we now need to focus on our management practices. How we're going to get the data in on a monthly basis, who's going to write the commentary, what's the drumbeat for the reporting steps and so forth. At the same time, we can figure out what are next steps. Where do we have weak data that we need to go back and strengthen? Where do we need to develop management competencies and capabilities and so forth? Then the most important step, the 5th step, is launch. We need to now move out of the design phase into the using phase, where we should be able to see some of the benefits of using the scorecard. Now, scorecards are a bit like riding a bike. It's not till you turn it on and you try using it will you really gain the experience and be able to figure out what parts you need to work on. So this is a brief overview. There's a longer webinar available on our website, as well as more detail around the methodology. So if you want to learn more, just go to balancedscorecard.net and go to the Insights tabs where you can look in far more detail. Thank you for your time.